Finally, I'm done editing the comment review video. And if I post it now, it should be uploaded by tomorrow afternoon. Here we go. Nap time. Are you done uploading?
No.
What? Well, how far are you?
We are at 60%.
What? It's been over 12 hours!
Don't blame me. Blame your shitty modem.
You both suck.
Well, I gotta edit tomorrow's video!
Well, I'm busy.
Can't we do two things at once?
Not if you want this uploaded before midnight.
Perfect! Now I gotta wait till Friday to release my top and bottom 5 video.
Hey, is the computer free? I've got some downloads to make.
Do not let him near me. Last time I think I picked up an STD from the site he went on.
Not my fault that Ricardo won't install a better anti-malware.
Will you two shut up? I'm trying to think of how I'm gonna swing this. I know! I'll say that I'm posting it as a 5 favorites Friday video!
Oh, so you're coming up with a new thing?
No, I just need something snappy so I can sell it to the idiots that watch my videos.
I'd argue against calling your viewers idiots, but they do watch your videos. So, yeah.
I quite agree.
Whatever. When do you think you'll be done?
Sometime after 8.
Well, step on it. I'll work on this while I wait. And that's why my video is late, guys. Sorry. Well, at least I have this to work on in the meantime.
Close the laptop!
What is wrong with you?
You saw that thing!
Oh, God. Well, here's the video, guys. What is up with the Japanese and tentacles? Hey, Internet, what's going on? I'm Ricardo, the Cynical Critic. Welcome to my list of the top and bottom 5 characters of RWBY Volume 1. 2 important things before we start. First of all, like any other list out there, this is more or less subjective and of my personal choice.
Yeah, so remember to chill out about who's on the list.
Exactly! And...
Because Butt Nuggets here is going to piss you off for who he chose for his bottom.
Thank you. And second is what I consider to be a bad character. Long story short, I really don't think that there are that many bad movies or characters. Just disappointing ones. Okay? So don't get too angry about my bottom list because, like I said, I don't think that they're bad characters. I just think that they could have been done better. With that in mind, let's start with my top 5. As I still believe that my bottom 5 is going to cause most of you to put me on some sort of hit list. Here are my top 5 characters of RWBY Volume 1.
Number 5. Professor Osmond.
We'll start with a character that, few though they were, I couldn't find any of his appearances in the show that I didn't like.
Every time this guy's on screen, I get a pleasant feeling of security. I'm not sure if recent years if we've gotten another Dumbledore-like character who both embodies the powerful sense of control and patient wisdom, but I'm glad Monty and the gang were able to bring us this one. You always get the sense that he knows more than he lets on, and that he's got a firm grip on the bigger picture. Plus, the remark that he made back in Chapter 10 that he's made more mistakes in his life than any man, woman, or child is cliche. But the way Osmond says it gives us the feeling that it's true and sends chills down our spines. While Osmond doesn't, no pun intended, show up in the show all that often, Shannon McCormick is able to bring off a heavy weight to the words he speaks. This is easily the best role he's played, which considering the roles he has played, wouldn't normally be saying much. But he was a wizard when it came to Osmond.
Number 4. Jean Arc.
The underdog character isn't an easy one to make. Either they start him off way too weak and then suddenly have him extremely powerful, or the writers fall back on the power of friendship crutch. But when it came to Jean, I think Rooster Teeth did it nicely.
Sure, he's a bumbling idiot who's in way over his head, but that's probably what makes him so likable. He's not doing this for honor, or for his friends and family, or for the love of his life. He's doing it for himself, to prove, if not to everyone else, then at least to himself, that he's got what it takes. This determination is respectful, both because it isn't the stupid Naruto, "I'm going to be president" bullshit that made no sense, and because Miles Luna does a fantastic job voicing Jean. The confidence, despite his skills, that Miles brings across this blonde buffoon allows us to warm up to him without becoming annoyed like we've become with other characters. But thanks to Miles, I think we all love Jean's character arc this volume.
Number 3. Yang Xiao Long.
She would have been higher on this list if I didn't already feel that I had a bias towards her. Since this character was shown back to us in the yellow trailer, she has always managed to make me crack a smile. And it's not for the reasons that you guys might think it is.
No matter what's going on, Yang is always being awesome. She's a tough fighter, a caring sister, and loves to throw out the occasional pun. On occasion, she may let her team down, especially when it came to the 2 fights we got where she didn't seem to try to intervene. It's still clear that she cares for them. It seems every time she's on screen, she's having a blast, which is likely what Barbara Dunkelman was having. She just sounds like she absolutely loved voicing the characters, and it shows. Her lines, her laughter, her god-awful puns. It's clear that she's one of the reasons why people love the show. So you gotta hand it to Barbara. She didn't fall short when it came to Yang. Okay, yes, I feel terrible about that one.
Number 2, Roman Torchwick.
Getting a villain to be intimidating without being stupidly overpowered is hard. Getting us to love to hate them is difficult. Getting us to love them even though that they are the bad guy is downright ingenious. It's clear that Roman isn't an evil guy, but he ain't no goody two-shoe either.
Every time this guy opens his mouth, I get ready to crack a smile, cause he's got a silver tongue that would make Loki jealous. It seems no matter what happens, he's always got a plan to get himself out of trouble. He may not come out on top, but he'll make sure that he's got plenty more opportunities in the future. Even though he was the head of animation and likely had better things to do, I'm glad that Grey Haddock was able to lend us his talents for this character. The smooth way he talks, the confidence in his voice, and just how he's able to convince me that he's got a plan. Jeez, if this guy wasn't so busy being a con man, he'd make a pretty good politician. Either way, I love how Grey is able to show us that Roman would still be singing his tune even when it's raining.
And my top best character of the first season of RWBY is...
Weiss Schnee.
Shut up! It's my list! And I think of Volume 1, she was the best character. She goes through the most arcs, she has the most interesting background that we know of, and by the end, is the one that gets the most development.
True, she was bitchy and about as friendly as a cold winter breeze, but that made it only more endearing when she did open up. And like I thought, all of that was simply a wall she had put up as to not be hurt again. A father who's emotionally abusive to his daughter, likely befriended by people simply because you're the heir to a powerful company, and with constant threats from an extremist group, it's no wonder why Weiss doesn't readily open up to others. But that's not to say that she doesn't, cause when push came to shove, she cared more about her friends than about who they used to be. I've already praised Kara Ebely for being able to have Weiss come across as both whiny bitch and hurt little girl simply through her voice. Because even though her nature was to throw up a wall, Kara helped us to feel sympathy for the Princess of Snow hiding behind it. One could say that Kara helped break the ice when it came to Weiss.
Oh god, that was awful. Almost as awful as what's coming next.
He's right, guys, because now it's time for my bottom 5 characters. Once again, I'd like to reiterate that I don't hate these characters, I just wish that they had been more than what we got. So with that, let's see how many of you I can lose. Here are my 5 bottom characters of RWBY Volume 1.
Number 5, Blake Belladonna.
Yes, Blake is on this list, and the reason for that is she played a crucial role at the end of the show, and there was no build-up to it.
We were given one scene back in chapter 11
when she remarks that Cardin isn't the only one who picks on faunuses, and back in chapter 3 where she explained that life isn't a fairy tale, which were both great little nods to who she truly was. But that's just it. They were only little nods and no real focus on the character. I am of course talking about who Blake is personality wise, because all we know is that she doesn't talk much and that she's kind of reclusive, which is probably the problem, as it means we don't get to know who she is until the end. She needed more screen time to be developed so that the impact of her past would have hit even harder. Now, Blake is still a cool character, which is why she's so low on this list. Aaron Zeg did a wonderful job bringing the emotionally torn Faunus to life in a way that was both sympathetic and engaging. Just wish we knew more about her before the end of the show. Either way, though we weren't expecting her to be perfect, I feel Blake could have been done better.
Number 4, Ruby Rose.
What? Another main character? What the hell is wrong with me? Oh, so many things. But my psychologist told me that we were never to speak of them again.
Anyways, yes, RWBY, the main character, is on the bottom 5's list. And that's just it. She was the main character, and yet we focused very little on her. As we got closer to the end of the season, we seemed to get less and less of her, which for a main character is a no-no. Similarly to Blake, she wasn't given enough screen time to develop RWBY properly. And while we had a good idea of who she was, she started to feel less like a main character and more like a side chick who's there when you need some nookie, but pushed away the moment something else comes around. Which is sad, because Lindsay Jones definitely got better with her voice acting as the season progressed. And that's not to say that RWBY wasn't entertaining, because she certainly was. But she needed a bit more presence. I mean, the show is more or less named after her, and yet she felt like a small character in a field of other characters. As beautiful as this rose was, she didn't stand out enough among the other flowers.
Number 3, Velvet Scarlatina.
Look at you guys! You're like, oh no, he didn't! You did not just put the cute little bunny girl on this list. No, actually, number 3 is Pyrrha Nikos. Now hold it right there! Before any of you start bitching, remember, I don't think that any of these characters were bad. Just disappointing.
Which again is probably due to the fact that we had so many with so little time to develop them. And one I really wanted to know more about was Pyrrha. She's so nice and patient and perfect that that's why she's on this list. We needed to know more about this character that was going to clearly play an important part to another character's development. Why is she so nice? Why is she so patient with Jean? And why, with her being so strong, was she more than content to not only not be leader, but so willing to accept a clear and competent fool as one? And yes, before any of you start posting comments, I know why, but it's never explained or even hinted at in the first volume. She's just a good girl, which feels a bit disappointing, as with no flaws, or hint at who she is, brings a bit of disconnect with the character. The voice actor Jen Brown does a fabulous job playing this amazing Spartan, as she has played a Spartan-like character before. But I and others wanted to know more about her, and sadly we were forced to wait, which is something you do not do in the first season. So yes, this meant that Pyrrha's character development took an arrow to the heel. Okay, crybabies, at least I didn't say knee.
Number 2, Cinder Falls.
You may be asking, who the hell are you talking about? And that's one of the main reasons she's on this list. One of the main baddies of this series, and apart from a scene at the very beginning and one at the very end, we are given nothing else.
As I said in my finals thoughts video, a villain needs to have presence. We as the audience need to feel that this baddie is a threat and could very well win. But we don't get that with this character, which, as we'll see later on, weakens her presence as a villain to be reckoned with. Anime already has a bad reputation of introducing villains late in the game who have no good build-up to them, and then expect us to feel scared. Even if the characters are not immediately aware or affected by the villain, we still need to know that they are a present and dangerous threat. And getting Jessica Nigri to play this character was wonderful, as she brings about that presence in her voice. But without more screen time and no mention of her throughout the season, leaves it a bit lacking in the fear that we need to feel from this character. I'm sorry to say, but it looks like Cinder falls short of being a good villain.
And my number 1 bottom character of RWBY Volume 1 is Penny. Look at your faces! Look at them! Actually, my number 1 bottom character is Nora Valkyrie. Look at your faces! Oh, God. That'll never get old. Okay, I had my fun. My number 1 bottom character, for real, of the first season of RWBY was
Cardin Winchester.
No, I'm not joking. And no, unlike other lists, he's not on this one because I hated him. Actually, I wanted to love him.
In recent years, we haven't gotten a good bully, one in which we love to hate. They don't all have to be flushed out with sympathetic backstories like Draco Malfoy or 2017's Henry Bowers, as we already know that Rooster Teeth barely had enough time to flush out the teams, let alone the antagonists. But what would have worked extremely well for the show would have been a bully that simply enjoyed being a bully. What was needed was someone on the lines of Biff Tannen or Bulk and Skull. Guys we didn't care about having arcs or being developed, as they and the actors looked like they enjoyed being bad bad simply for the lulz. However, that's not what happened with Carden, who seemed to be just a jerk to annoy and antagonize our heroes, and then drop off the face of the show when he wasn't needed. He wasn't even enjoyable to have on screen, as he was more of a means to an end than someone we were to hate. No offense to Discount Jack, but I don't think Adam Ellis was the right choice for this role. He just didn't sound like he was having fun playing the character. We needed someone like Barbara, who sounded like she was always having a blast. But apart from a little in-joke with the conflict between Jean and Carden, that ended a whole lot better than their real-life counterparts, a lot of people wanted a bully that would bring a smile to our faces, both when he was doing his thing and when he was getting his comeuppance. However, to our and the show's disappointment, this Winchester just couldn't hit the mark.
And there you guys have it. To what few are still watching, my top and bottom 5 characters of RWBY Volume 1. Again, these were who I thought deserved to be on each list, and those who were on my bottom list weren't bad. I just wanted them to be better than what we got.
Not gonna stop people from wanting you dead, Pyrrha hater.
I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and sound off in the comment section who was your favorite character, and which one you thought could have been done better, and why!
Incidentally, guys, if you want to give me a little incentive, I can tell you the next time he's vulnerable, in case you want to deal with him.
Either way, whether you thought they were good or bad, you have to admit, most of them were leagues better than what we usually get in anime. Well, you guys take care. I'm Ricardo, the cynical critic. With me, no movie's sacred, no video is safe, but all deserve a chance. I'll catch you guys later. Toodles!